Order of operations. We've heard the saying appendus. We've heard, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. What does it stand for? Well, P is for parentheses. Excuse. E is for exponents or exponent. M for multiplication. Dear for division. Aunt for addition. Sally for subtraction. So basically what this means is we have an order in which we need to do this math in, and if we stick with the order, our answer will come out correctly every time. So what is the order? We need to read left to right, and we're going to start with the P. So first thing, we need to look at the parentheses. And what I noticed, and I apologize, this is going blurry in and out. I'm not sure. I fixed the settings, but I apologize for that. So please bear with me. Okay, so what we noticed is that I got a parentheses here, I got a bracket here, and inside the bracket I have a parentheses. So what I need to do is clean up what's inside the parentheses if possible. So I'm going to bring down my 7 and I'm going to look at it. I have 5 times 3, and yes, they can be put together through multiplication. 5 times 3 is 15. Let's bring down the plus 1 minus 2. And inside this bracket I have this parentheses, and I'm going to have to clean it up before I can do anything else. So I have 9 minus 3 is 6. And let's bring down the divide 3 minus 4 squared. Close bracket, bring down the plus 1. So now, this part is cleaned up for now, but we're still trying to clean up all the parentheses. So let's just bring this down for now. I know some of you are going to combine a lot and skip some steps, but I don't want to skip any for this moment. I notice inside this parentheses I have a lot going on, and you have to read left to right. And inside the parentheses I notice that division comes before subtraction. But what becomes before those? Exponents. So that means I must square this 4 before I could do anything else. So let's bring down the 6 divides 3 minus. I'm going to come over to the side to do my math. 4 squared is the same as saying 4 times 4, which is 16. Now let's bring everything else down. So let's go back to that bracket, and I notice now I can start cleaning it up a little bit more. The division is going to come before the subtraction, so let's go ahead and divide it. 6 divides 3 is 2, because 3 goes into 6 2 times. Now let's bring down the negative 16, close the bracket, plus 1. So again, we still got some cleaning up to do inside this parentheses, so let's just bring everything else down again. Now when I read this, I see that I have 2 minus 16. What does that mean? That means, for example, I have $2 in my bank account and I go spend $16. What happens? Ends up leaving me in the hole because I have I have less money than what I'm spending. So 2 minus 16 is a negative 14. And bring down the plus 1. So now we have checked off the parentheses. We have checked off the exponents. So next I see my dear, which is multiplication and division. Multiplication and division are like siblings. They go together. And whichever one of these that come first is based upon being read left to right. It's first come, first serve. So we read left to right, and whichever one of those come first is the one we're going to do. Well, in this case, we already did the division because it was inside the bracket. But if it wasn't and it was out here somewhere, we'd read left to right, whichever one came first. So I see that I have 7 times 15, and we don't always know the number, so I'm going to come to this side, and I'm going to line it up. And I'm going to say 7 times 5 is, and it's 35. Bring down the 5, carry the 3. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 3 is 10. So the total is 105. Now let's bring the plus 1. And I notice I have negative 2 times that negative 14. So negative times negative gives me a positive. And then 2 times 14. And if you don't know the number off the top of your head, it's good just to come to the side. And we can say 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 1 is 2, so it's 28. Now let's bring down the plus 1. Now we can check off the multiplication and the division, and now we're on addition and subtraction. And they're the same thing. They go together. We read left to right. Whichever one comes first, we do first. So if subtraction came first, we would do the subtraction. In this case here, we have already taken care of all the subtractions because they were in the parentheses and the brackets. But in this case here, if one of these was a subtraction, we'd do it left to right, whichever one came first. So now I see that I have this 105 plus 1, which is 106. And now I will do the 106 plus 28. So I'm going to line it up because sometimes it's not always easy to see. And I'm going to go ahead and put that plus 1 under it. If you're not comfortable with it, do one more step. So I have 1 plus 8 is 9. 9 plus 6 is 15. I'm going to carry the 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. Bring down the 1. So my answer is 135.